Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Consecration. Another movie about the devil and priests and nuns and bad things happen. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 10 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited is free. Got something in my tooth. Anyhow. So, I don't know. It's an old English church where there's a legend about nuns taking the sacrament, and every sacrament they take a step back until they fall out of the church and die. But as the priest says, God catches them. So it's this creepy, I don't know, Catholic movie about the devil, and this woman is trying to figure out what happened to her brother. He was horribly murdered. But is there something supernatural going on, or are the nuns just a bunch of weirdos? I don't know. It looks like some supernatural stuff is going on. They don't really tell you what it is. There's lots of screaming and scenes like this. And it ends like this. I don't know. Are they worshiping a devil or the devil? The creepy part about the movie is one of the nuns says, whenever she approaches, she goes, peekaboo. And that's supposed to be creepy because, you know, they're using that ironically. So February 10th, written by Christopher Smith and Laurie Cook, directed by Christopher Smith. Sounds like a very English movie. Yeah, I don't really recognize. I recognize one character actor. I guess that's Danny Houston. I don't know his name, the priest guy. I mean, I don't know. These movies got tiresome for me back in the 70s when I was a kid, and I would see him and go, oh, one of these movies. Yeah, this guy. See, this guy I recognize. I guess that's Danny Houston. I don't know. They're all kind of the same. It's always like a church, something weird happens, usually a weird murder, and then someone gets possessed or is a devil or there's supernatural forces at work, and it's nuns or priests murdering people or doing horrible things. Are the movies anti-religious? You might ask. A little. I don't think that was their main point initially. I think it all started with The Exorcist, really. And The Exorcist it's really kind of when you really look at it and drill down, I think it's more of a kind of a positive movie, although it's very scary and messed up. But the end of the movie, it's kind of a heroic thing when you think about it. This doesn't appear to be that. It just appears to be a horror movie with more Catholic stuff, because Catholic stuff kind of is always creepy because it's old, because there's always shenanigans in the modern day with some of the priests. So it has this dark pall upon it that, I don't know, that the Catholic Church never can seem to shake. They've never, the Catholic Church has never really redesigned itself as a happy institution, even though it's not, I was arguing religion last night at Starbucks for some reason, but, Christianity in general is just super old, so that being that old comes with certain things. And one of the things, it comes with all these ancient secrets that are really easy. The milieu is very easy to use in this, horror movie setting, because you instantly have something ancient and unknown, because it comes from a time when people hadn't figured things out. So the idea being well, maybe demons did exist back then, and over the years they got more and more sophisticated at hiding themselves, and the Catholic Church knew something, but they never could quite get a handle on it, and there's still a couple of these monsters lurking in the shadows today. That's kind of the reasoning for it. On top of the fact that, religion plays a part in it. Now, years ago, there were more religious people, so I think these kinds of movies held more weight, especially when The Exorcist came out, Now, almost no one's religious, and they've, at least in Hollywood, relentlessly dumped on religion. So why would you expect people to show up and be horrified by this movie? They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, religion." If they don't believe in religion, they're not going to believe in the antithesis of religion, let's say. So, and not that I'm expecting anybody to believe this movie, but it's just undercuts it. It undermines it. And the very audience that you'd want for a movie like this, they're kind of checked out on movies because Hollywood in general kind of relentlessly paints religious people as being in such a negative life in general. So, who's this movie for? Is what I always ask. So for a horror movie, I mean, a B horror movie, I'm sure it'll be fine. Um, it's on Shudder. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's going to be a breakout thing. Maybe in a place like Ireland, where there's still a lot of religious people and these kinds of buildings lurking about. Maybe in England, maybe places in Europe where, you know, somebody can still sort of wrap their brain around Christianity and not immediately think, oh, that's just a total wank. But those people are fewer and farther between than ever. And do they even go to the movies, or can they go to the movies in this day and age? It's so expensive, and there's so many other things going on. So, in some respects, I think, Hollywood shoots itself in the foot again with a movie like this because of the way they behave. But do I think it's a good movie? Yeah, it'll probably be okay. I mean, I'm not religious. It doesn't really resonate all that strongly with me. So you got to kind of spoon feed me the stuff that actually connects into real religion in order to even make me understand it. I get the basics, but it's not The Exorcist. I don't know. The Exorcist kind of spoke to me because I was an American, the characters are American, and it didn't dig down that deeply, but it was sort of the first of its kind, and everything after that's sort of been a pale imitation. First act, this woman gets the news that her brother dies, or maybe you see him die, but you don't quite see who kills him. She shows up on I don't know, it's an island maybe, or this remote area of a church in the rolling hills of, I don't know, I'm guessing England. And there are all these nuns there, and it's all a tragedy, and she starts to notice weird things wrong with her brother. That he was injured before he was pushed off a cliff, let's say. And that something killed him. And then she starts exploring. And so the second act, she ends up staying at the monastery, I guess it is, or what's the nun equivalent? Monastery? It's not monastery. It's I don't know, the place where they keep the nuns. And she stays there, and weirder and weird things happen. The nuns are super weird, and slowly but surely it gets weirder and weirder, and maybe there's an attempt on her life, and the priest is weird too. And then by the end of the second act, we know, oh, there's evil nuns afoot, or this crazy guy is probably an ex-priest that she goes to interview, a friend of her brother's. He knew what was the deal. And then in the third act, she's running away from these crazy nuns who are going to, I don't know, perform some sort of ceremony and feed her to the evil demon or something like that. And in the end, she gets away, or she joins them. I mean, it's Shudder. It could go the dark route. That would be pretty cool. Overall, I don't know. I that's not the kind of movie I generally like. And then, you got this friendly nun with this creepy peekaboo. But then later in the movie, when she, I don't know, turns into a monster, then it's like, peekaboo. And, yeah, I don't know. She looks like a corpse. This has something to do with it. I don't know. Did they stick her brother in there, or is there something else? Something evil. Something evil. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of shots like this with this woman looking concerned and slightly confused, like, what is going on here? And then something scary in the background. I mean, it looks okay, I guess, for a B movie scare. This was the sort of movie like back in the day when there were still drive-in theaters. We'd go, and this would be one of the movies, and we'd sort of half pay attention to it. Um, I don't think it's going to blow your socks off, but I mean, if you're into horror, it'll probably be a pretty watchable movie overall. Something directly on the video you watch. If you're like a horror nut, you just watch every horror movie that comes out, right? You know, you and your 16-year-old buddies hanging out from high school, and you just, let's rent this movie called Consecration. It is evil nuns get killed. All right, we'll watch that. And you just watch it. And then probably get high. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. I will be at the White Horse Winery at 6 p.m. on Friday in Hamilton, New Jersey, and at the Wild Con in Wildwood, New Jersey on Saturday. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you in the next one.